Hello, this is the first movie for Word Chapter 1 for the pause and practice as we walk through the chapter to learn the material. The first thing that I want you to do is go into your Word Chapter 1 folder in Blackboard. Make sure that you go through your materials. Of course, this is where the movie is. There's always going to be a movie for your guided project in the help videos, as well as for these pause and practice. So we're going to go to assignments, Word, pause and practice. Okay, so if you note here, there are pause and practice 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. How I save this file is your initials. So my initials are HJM, PP for pause and practice. The application that you're using, so in this case is Word, so a W, Chapter 1-3. And what I usually have my students do is name it this ending file instead of what the directions say. The other thing I want you to make note is when we work on the pause and practice 1-2, we're going to need this file. So I'm going to go ahead and just download it now. So I'm in Chrome, and when I clicked on it, do you notice that it actually brought the file up? If you want to download it for use later, point to it and right click. Since I'm in Chrome, in Windows 7, I have Save Link As, and there's the disclosure statement. It's going into my downloads, so you just want to make sure you know where that file is. If you're working here on campus, don't keep things in downloads, because when you log off, those files will be gone. So you want to put it on your home drive or a USB, something that you know you're going to have long term. So I'm going to just go ahead and save that. So if I look at my textbook, and I'm on page W1-12, and this chapter, Chapter 1, is all about introducing you to creating and editing documents in Word. Okay, so some of this might be repeat for any of those people who have used Word, because it's fairly basic, but there are some interesting things in this chapter that you might not have known about Word, and that will help you as you move forward using the product. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Word, and I want to create a blank document. So right here in these templates, these are actually templates, we're going to click on the blank, and it is going to open a blank document. One of the things that I want you to note on my particular environment, I always have the ruler bar activated, and so you may not have that. As we go through this, it's going to ask you to, but if you want to put it on so you match my screen, if you come up to View, right here under Show, just check that ruler, and then you would have that. And that way you kind of know where you're at as you move through. Okay, but it's not required. It's just if you wanted to match mine. So, so we have this file opened. We don't have anything in it yet, but we're going to turn around and save it. So I'm going to come up here to do File, and there's two options. There's a Save and a Save As. At this point in the process, it doesn't really matter if you click Save or Save As, because you're going to get the Save As screen. So let me demonstrate. I'm going to click on Save. Notice it goes right to Save As, because the system has three pieces of information that it needs about a file. It needs the file name, it needs where the file is going to be housed, in other words, what device and what directory, right? So what is it called, where is it going to be saved, and then how is it going to be saved, what format. And that's probably the one that we changed the least. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just browse and put this on my I'm going to actually put it on my external drive. And I'm going to make a folder. I'm going to say Word Chapter 1 Practice, just so I have it. I'm going to go into that folder, right? So here's the path. This is where it's being saved, right? So it doesn't really matter. Once again, though, you want to make sure it doesn't go to downloads because that goes away if you're here on campus. You just need to know where it is. It doesn't so much matter where you put it, just so you're organized enough to find it. Then if we move down here to file name, I'm going to click on that and see how it's all highlighted. I can just start typing on top of it. I don't have to delete and then start typing. And remember the standard for our file name is your initials, PP for pause and practice. The product that you're in, we're in Word, and then it's 1, chapter 1, dash, and there's 3 pause and practices. So 1-3. This is the last piece of information that the system needs, and that is how is this file going to be saved. And probably 95% of the time you just leave that one alone. So we're going to go ahead and save it. Notice up here now we have our file name instead of just document 1. So now we have it named and a home. So now if I go up here and I pick on save, it doesn't ask me those 3 things. It knows the name, it knows where it's going, and it knows how it's being saved. So if you need to change any 3 of those components, you want to change the name that you have, you want to change where, you want to make a duplicate copy and put it in a different folder or on a USB, you're changing where it's at. Or if you wanted to change it into a PDF, that's how it's being saved. Then you would have to do the save as to get that screen back up. Okay, so that's the difference between save and save as. So the initial time you do your file doesn't matter, but from that point on it does. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and I'm on step 3 of W1-12 of your textbook, or that first page of the pause and practice. So we've got it named, we've got a home for it, it's all good. So I want to create an autocorrect entry. So an autocorrect entry would be if there's something that you like have an issue with spelling, or you always type it wrong, or it's something that you type frequently that, for example, my name is Helen Mandolinich. Instead of having to type that out every time, if I just put HJM in there, I could take HJM and convert it to my name, Helen J. Mandolinich. Okay, so you can use autocorrect for a couple different things. We're going to change CAVALI to the correct spelling with the 2 L's. Okay, so how do we get to this autocorrect? Well, we're going to go back to File. That's called Backstage View. So we're going to go to File, and then we're going to pick Options all the way at the bottom. And you see there's a series of different options that we can do. We want to go to the one that says Proofing. That has things about like spell checking and your dictionaries. Like let's say you work in a medical profession, you can add a medical dictionary or a legal dictionary or some whatever. So we're going to do this autocorrect options. So click on that. And here's what you need to do. So this would be the word or the spelling or the initials that you want to take and replace with something else. So on this one, I'm going to put the incorrect spelling, which I already have in here, tab over, and then put the correct spelling. Okay, so I'm saying, hey, when I type this, I forgot the second L. Replace it with the correct one. Okay, so I'm going to replace that. You would not have that. You would just have to add it. But since mine was already in there, it said replace. Yours would just say add. We're going to go ahead and OK, and we're back to our screen. All right. So now anytime I would spell Cavelli with the single L, it would, and after I type it and I hit the space bar, it will translate it into the word I want it replaced with. Okay. So the next thing we want to do, it's on the Home tab, and it's this little paragraph mark right here. It's in the paragraph group, and that's that symbol that marks a paragraph. This is what's known as the show hide. In your system, in your document, you have hidden codes, right? So when I turn those on, I see the hidden codes. So for example, I'm hitting the tab key. You can't see me, but I'm hitting the tab. Every time I hit the tab key, it puts one of these hidden codes. Without that, I would not know those were there, right? When I hit the space bar, it puts a dot, right? Do you see every time I'm hitting my space bar, which is bad. You don't want to do that. You don't want to space things across. But those hidden codes are revealed when you have the Show Hide button on. Okay, so I have to end this first movie. So we're going to pick up on step 5 for pause and practice 1. All right, guys, thank you.